I watched a 46-year-old man shake his empty Mountain Dew glass at our waiter, like he was summoning a servant. Both earbuds in, watching anime at a nice Italian restaurant. Then he pulled one earbud out, grinned at me and said, "Didn't even have to say a word. That is how you do it. That man is my sister-in-law's husband. And I told her last night that if he and their youngest are coming, I am never eating out with them again." My wife would have been mortified, but my wife isn't here anymore. She passed in 2022. And honestly, I think she would have said something way before I did. My wife Claire lost her fight with cancer 3 years ago at 35. We were supposed to grow old together. Instead, I picked out a casket before either of us had a gray hair. When she died, everything in me shut off. Stopped eating, stopped answering the phone. Just existed in our house surrounded by her things. Her family saved me. Sister Diane showed up with food and sat with me in silence. Her kids Tyler, 15 then, and Emma, 13, kept texting me dumb memes like nothing changed. Patricia, Claire's mom, called every morning at 7 a.m. for a full year. Never missed one. They refused to let me disappear. I became real family, drove Tyler to college visits, taught Emma to drive in the Kroger lot on Franklin Road. Patricia and I have Sunday coffee weekly. And Emma has Claire's eyes. Same green with gold flecks. Every time she laughs I see my wife. Thought I had a decent thing with Diane's husband Garrett and youngest Jaden too. Until Friday, Tyler got into University of Tennessee. I reserved a table at Trattoria Luciano. Nice Italian spot in Nashville's 12 South neighborhood. Claire and I went there for anniversaries. It meant something. Reservation at 7. I arrived early. Diane, Tyler, and Emma right on time. Then we waited. Garrett and Jaden showed up 25 minutes late. No apology. First words, "Why would you pick a place with no parking?" Inside he complained about waiting. "What is the point of a reservation if we still wait?" "We waited because you were late." I looked at Jaden, flannel pajama pants, stained torn hoodie. Everyone else dressed nicely, and this 13-year-old looked like he rolled out of bed. Diane whispered. Garrett said it was fine. Hostess eyed Jaden but seated us. Tyler and Emma stared at the floor. I ordered apps for everyone. Bruschetta, calamari, burrata, antipasto. Enough for 2 each. Second those plates landed, Garrett grabbed nearly half before anyone touched a napkin. "Mouth full," he complained. "Bruschetta is bland. Calamari overcooked. These prices for this." Kept eating everything he trashed. Diane said, "Garrett, save some for everyone," ignored. Tyler quietly slid the last calamari plate to Emma before Garrett could take it. An 18-year-old managing his father at the table. Broke my heart. For entrees Garrett ordered pizza, but changed everything. Different sauce. Cheese. Toppings. Extra side. Built a new dish, called it pizza. Waiter mentioned pricing adjusts. Garrett scoffed. Jaden's turn, and this 13-year-old couldn't order himself. He pointed at the menu and Garrett waved him off. Ordered for him without looking at what Jaden wanted. Then came what broke me. Garrett put both earbuds in at the table during Tyler's celebration. Watching anime while we discussed Tyler's future. Completely checked out. Then the Mountain Dew moment. Glass empty. Waiter walking past. No excuse me. No eye contact. No removing earbuds. Just shook his empty glass at the waiter like ringing a bell for a dog. Waiter took it, walked away. Garrett pulled one earbud out and grinned. Didn't even have to say a word. That is how you do it. Diane and I both worked restaurants for years. I waited tables 4 years in college. Claire served 6. We knew that feeling from the other side, watching him treat our waiter like a trained animal and laugh. At the table where my wife should have been, something in me cracked. Check came. One app I was covering, ended up on their bill. Easy fix, but Garrett yelled for nearby tables to hear. How hard is it to get it right the first time? Waiter's face went red, hands shaking. Done. I followed him to the register, paid for my food and Tyler and Emma's, walked back, said bye to Diane and the 2 oldest, left, not one word to Garrett or Jaden. Hour later, Diane called. Did we do something wrong? I laid it all out, every single thing. She went quiet. No one's had a problem with them, I said, because no one has the guts to say it. Diane. 30 minutes later, Patricia called. Nearly in tears. Marcus, thank you for being the only person who has called Garrett out. I have said it for years and everyone acts like I am overreacting. So am I wrong? Was I right to be embarrassed? This is my wife's family. The only family I have. Feel like I dropped a grenade in the middle of it. Diane hasn't texted back in 2 days. But Tyler texted this morning. Uncle Marcus, please don't give up on us, that one hit different. Update 1, the family meeting from hell. So I posted here about the restaurant disaster with my sister-in-law's husband. Wasn't expecting what came next. Diane asked for a family meeting. I agreed. What I didn't know was Garrett had been telling his version to everyone, and let's say it was creative fiction. According to him, I ruined dinner because I stormed out like a teenager, and tried to humiliate him in front of his kids. He told Diane's cousin I left, because I was jealous of his happy marriage. Jealous of his marriage. My wife is dead, and he thinks I am jealous. Tyler screenshotted texts Garrett sent relatives and forwarded them. One said, Marcus has been weird since Claire died. He needs therapy, not a family dinner. That was like getting punched. Not because of gossip, because Garrett took the worst thing that ever happened to me and weaponized it. He used Claire's death to play victim. That is what I couldn't shake. Patricia called next morning wanting to host a meeting at her house in Franklin. Said this was long overdue. Saturday, I drove out. Diane and Garrett already inside. Tyler and Emma came separately. Jaden stayed home gaming. Living room felt heavy. Garrett in the corner armchair, arms crossed. Diane on the couch, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Patricia opened with, "This has been a long time coming." Garrett said, "What is this? An intervention?" Patricia looked at him. "If that is what it takes." I kept calm, walked through everything at Trattoria. Luciano, the lateness, the parking complaints. Jaden in pajamas, hoarding appetizers, complaining about food he kept eating. The modified pizza, earbuds and anime at the table, shaking his glass at the waiter, screaming about the bill. Garrett kept cutting in. "That is not what happened. You are exaggerating. It wasn't that bad." I didn't raise my voice once. Just kept going. When I finished, the room was quiet. Then Tyler stood up. Hands shaking. This 18-year-old kid, I watched grow from a shy teenager into a young man about to start college, looked at his father and said, "Dad, I love you, but Uncle Marcus is telling the truth. It is not just that dinner. It is every single dinner. Every time we go anywhere." Garrett wasn't expecting that. Tyler kept going. The time Garrett sent a steak back 3 times in Brentwood, making everyone sit silent for 40 minutes. The argument with a movie theater employee over a $2 popcorn upcharge. Complaining about a birthday cake at a family party because it wasn't his flavor. Even though it wasn't his birthday. Then Emma spoke. Eyes red, voice barely a whisper. "I stopped inviting friends to eat with us because I am scared you will embarrass me. Dad, my friend Hannah had her birthday at Olive Garden last year. I told everyone I was sick because I was afraid you would come silence." Then Emma turned to me and said something that nearly destroyed me. Aunt Claire would never have let this happen. She would have said something. I miss her because she was the only adult who made me feel like wanting better was okay. I looked at the ceiling to hold it together. Claire's eyes in her niece's face, filled with tears. Patricia squeezed my hand. Garrett's face went dark red. He turned to Diane. "You going to let our kids talk to me like this?" Diane didn't answer. Just sat there, tears running down her face. That is when he lost it. He stood up, kicked the chair against the wall. "I don't need this. I work 60 hours a week driving trucks to feed this family, and this is the thanks I get. Ambushed by my own wife's family." He pointed at me. "You think you are better than me? You are a sad, lonely man hanging around his dead wife's family because you have got nobody else. Don't lecture me about how to act." The room went silent. I looked him in the eyes and said nothing. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. He stared at me waiting for a reaction, then stormed out. We heard his truck start, and tires screeched down the driveway. Patricia put her arms around me and whispered, "Don't let that man make you feel small. Claire chose you for a reason." Diane was crying. She kept saying she was sorry, that she didn't know it was this bad. That she needed time. I told her I understood. That I wasn't trying to destroy her marriage. I just couldn't sit through another dinner like that, and pretend everything was fine. Tyler drove Emma home. Before leaving he grabbed my hand. "Whatever happens, you are still my uncle. That doesn't change." Emma hugged me without a word. I drove home in silence. Saturday alone in my kitchen staring at our wedding photo. Claire in her white dress with those green eyes and that smile she made when she was truly happy. I told her I was sorry for stirring things up. Diane called at midnight, voice shaking. Garrett came home, packed a bag, and left. Told her if she doesn't take his side. "They are done," she asked. "Marcus, what do I do?" I didn't have an answer, because the honest answer was the one she didn't want to hear. Update 2. The truth about Garrett. I need to update everyone, because things have gotten worse than a bad dinner. Garrett didn't leave for a night. He has been gone over a week. In that week Diane found things that change everything. The restaurant behavior wasn't rudeness. It was the tip of a very ugly iceberg. Part of me wishes I never said anything. What is unraveling now? None of us were prepared. After the family meeting at Patricia's, Garrett packed a bag, took Jaden, and went to his brother's place outside Murfreesboro. Diane spent 2 days crying. By day 3 she started cleaning. I think just to keep her hands busy. That is when she found the shoebox in the back of Garrett's closet. 3 credit cards in Garrett's name only. Combined balance just under $28,000. Diane had no idea. She called me shaking so hard I heard the cards rattling against the phone. We went through statements together, electronics gaming gear, a $200 monthly online gambling subscription, hundreds in fast food on days Garrett drove his truck routes, meals for one. This man complained about appetizer prices at Trattoria Luciano while carrying $28,000 in secret debt, shook his glass at a waiter for a free refill while gambling hundreds online monthly. The irony made me sick. But that wasn't the worst of it. Once the kids saw Diane going through everything, they started talking. With Garrett gone, Tyler and Emma felt safe enough to say what they had held in for years. Tyler told me about an Applebee's dinner 2 years back. Diane's best friend Karen was there. Garrett told the waiter loud enough for everyone that his food tasted like prison food. Karen never came out with him again. Diane lost her closest friend and Garrett acted like Karen was the dramatic one. Then Emma said something that rewired my whole understanding. He does it on purpose. Uncle Marcus. He doesn't want mom to have friends. Every time she gets close to someone, he finds a way to ruin it. He wants us to only have him. My brain just clicked. The restaurant behavior wasn't bad manners. It was a strategy. Every embarrassing scene, every loud complaint, every time he made people uncomfortable enough to never come back, that was isolation. He was cutting Diane off from the world, one ruined dinner at a time. And it had worked for years. That is when I remembered something Claire said about a year before she passed. We were lying in bed and she told me, I worry about Diane sometimes. She makes excuses for Garrett the way mom used to make excuses for dad's drinking. I didn't understand then. I do now. Claire saw it before any of us did. I have carried guilt since the family meeting. Did I blow up my sister-in-law's marriage over a dinner? Or did I just speed up something already falling apart? Patricia keeps saying I did right. But doing right doesn't feel right when you watch a family crack open. Then Garrett called, voice calm, eerily calm. You destroyed my family. You took the only thing Claire left behind, her sister, and turned her against me, I said. You turned her against yourself. I just held up a mirror. Quiet for a second, then, you are going to regret this. Days later Facebook posts started, no names but everyone knew. Vague posts about someone using grief to get close to married women, a man hiding behind a dead wife's memory to play hero while destroying families. He was implying I had an emotional affair with Diane, using Claire's death as cover. His relatives texted Diane, he is disrespecting your marriage. Your dead sister's husband is trying to steal you. One cousin called Patricia saying she should be ashamed. Then Jaden, the part keeping me up at night. Garrett took that 13-year-old when he left and the kid is caught in something he cannot understand. Emma said, Jaden called her crying. Dad says Uncle Marcus hates me, is that true? Knife in my chest? I don't hate Jaden, never have. I hate what he is being taught. Nobody showed him how to treat people because his father never learned. I messaged Jaden through Emma's phone. I don't hate you. Buddy, never have. Just want better for you than what you are being taught. No reply, don't know if he read it, but I needed him to know. Diane met with a divorce attorney this week. Nothing decided but she wanted options. The financial discovery alone changes everything in custody. Patricia had me stay for dinner after I helped Diane organize the documents. She held my face and said, you did what Claire would have done. Don't carry guilt for doing right. Drove home but I stopped at Williamson Memorial where Claire rests. Saturday on the grass beside her grave in the dark. I don't know if I did the right thing, babe. But you would have done it sooner, and better. You always did everything better. Got home around 11, fell asleep on the couch. Woke at 2 a.m. to a text from Garrett. Lawyer up, you are going to need it. Below it, a screenshot of an appointment with a family attorney. This isn't about dinner anymore. This is war. Final update, what Claire would have wanted final update. Honestly, I wasn't sure I'd ever write this one. The last month has been the hardest since Claire died. But I owe it to everyone who reached out, who shared their stories, who told me I wasn't crazy. You all kept me sane when everything was falling apart. So here is how it ended. Warning, it is not the neat satisfying ending you might want. Real life rarely is. But it is honest, and I think Claire would appreciate that. First, the legal threat. Garrett's text turned out to be what my attorney called the legal equivalent of a toddler tantrum. He planned to sue for alienation of affection and emotional distress. My attorney reviewed everything and laughed. Zero basis. Garrett's own attorney said the same because 2 weeks later it quietly vanished. No lawsuit, no apology, just silence. Now Diane. She didn't file for divorce. She did something braver. Saturday Garrett down and gave him a list of conditions. Weekly marriage counseling, anger management classes, full financial transparency, and a plan to pay the $28,000 in hidden debt. A direct apology to me, And therapy for Jaden to undo years of being taught that treating people badly is normal. Garrett refused every single condition, called it ridiculous. So, Diane filed preliminary divorce paperwork. 3 days later, Garrett agreed to everything on the list. The apology happened at a coffee shop in Green Hills. Just us two. He didn't look at me for a full minute, then said, "I am sorry you were offended by how I act." I said, "That is not an apology. That is you making my feelings the problem instead of your behavior." Long silence, shoulders dropped. Almost a whisper, "I don't know how to be different." My old man was the same way. He would belch at the table and throw things at waitresses. "At least I am better than him," I said. "Being better than terrible doesn't make you good. Garrett, your kids deserve good. Diane deserves good." For the first time, Garrett looked small. Not the loud guy who shook glasses at waiters and watched anime at dinner tables. Just a man never taught better who never bothered learning. He said, "I will try. Don't know if I will be good at it, but I will try." I told him, "That is all anyone's asking." 2 weeks later, I got a text that nearly broke me, not from Diane or Tyler, from Jaden. First time he had ever messaged me directly. "Uncle Marcus, I am sorry about the restaurant. Dad said it was fine, but I knew it wasn't. Emma showed me how to dress for nice places. Can we try again?" I stared at my phone for a long time before I could type back. "Anytime, buddy, next time you get to pick what you order." "Deal," one word back. "Deal." Month later, I reserved Trattoria Luciano again. Same restaurant where it all started. This time me, Diane, Tyler, Emma, and Jaden. Garrett was at his weekly counseling session, which felt like progress itself. Jaden walked in wearing khakis and a polo shirt that Emma helped pick out. Looked like a completely different kid. Waiter came and Jaden ordered for himself. Chicken parmesan, didn't look at anyone for permission, just pointed at the menu and said it clear. When the waiter asked if we needed anything else, Jaden said, "No thank you, sir." 3 words, that is all it took. Diane covered her mouth. Tyler gave Jaden a fist bump under the table. Emma turned to me and smiled with those green eyes, Claire's eyes, and I thought, there she is, there is my Claire. Things aren't perfect. Garrett goes to counseling, but progress is slow. Still complains sometimes. But Diane has boundaries now. When he slips, she speaks up and he listens. That didn't happen before. Tyler moved into his dorm at UT last month. I carried boxes up 3 flights pretending my back didn't hurt. Emma started journaling, told Patricia she wants to be a therapist. Patricia hosted her birthday at a restaurant for the first time in 3 years, whole family invited. Even Garrett, he ordered off the menu without changes, and kept his phone pocketed the whole meal. I drove to Williamson Memorial last Saturday with Claire, like I always do. Told her everything. I think I did what you would have done. Maybe not as gracefully. Definitely not as diplomatically. But I did it. Your sister is stronger now, your niece and nephew are better for it. And your mom finally said what she had been holding in for years. I still miss you every day, Claire, but I think you would be proud of your family. I think you would be proud of me, and if you were here, you would look at me with those eyes Emma inherited and say, took you long enough. Marcus, so am I the asshole? Honestly, I don't care anymore. The people who matter, the people Claire loved, they are okay. That is enough. To everyone asking if I will eat out with them again. Tyler's graduation dinner is in May. Garrett asked if he could come. I said yes, but only if he leaves the earbuds at home. He actually laughed. First time I have heard him laugh at himself instead of at someone else. Claire would have called it a start.